I am so very excited for Xenoblade Chronicles 3. It's coming out this Friday. I have a pre-order downloaded onto my Switch. I'm going to be playing it right away at midnight and probably staying up all night just to play it. Probably not the best idea in the world if you want to keep a good sleep schedule, but I don't care. I've been so excited for another Xenoblade game for years, and the fact that we're getting one so soon is amazing. It's also sitting on an 89 on Metacritic, which, you know, you have to make your own judgments about a video game, but that's a pretty good score as well, with, like, even some of the lower scores still being pretty high. It's getting hundreds, it's getting 9 out of 10s, 10 out of 10s, and in one particular review that gave it an 8 out of 10, which is still a very good score, they said the game was 150 hours long. Just the campaign, just the main story. And I kind of wanted to talk about that today because now we have the usual complainers online saying that 150 hours is too long for a campaign for a video game. That please make the game shorter. Please, they're putting their hands in the air. Please make the game shorter. Please make games shorter. And all I gotta say is, to the question of, is 150 hours too long for a video game campaign? My answer is, no. It is not too long. But it also depends. It also depends. For me, one of the most, the silliest things that happens all the times is that people from, outside of fandom will look inside a fandom and say, change that. Change that for me. I want that change for me. And that happens way too often. It's like me who hasn't played Kingdom Hearts. I've only played one Kingdom Hearts game going, oh, change the story for me. Or watching someone play Assassin's Creed and asking them to change aspects of the game for me that I don't like, even though the fans love that aspect too. Believe it or not, JRPG fans love lengthy games. We love long campaigns. It's how we get into the story. It's how we get adapted to the story. We feel so attached to our characters by the end of the game that we don't move on for years and years and years of our lives. We don't just play a 10-hour campaign. Most JRPG fans will play the entire game, do all the side quests, do all the stuff, and then talk about the game like they just played it for the next 30 years. I played Final Fantasy X back in the early 2000s, 2002, for the first time, and I still talk about that game as if I played it yesterday, as if I just finished it. That's what a JRPG is to me, and that's what it is to a lot of fans. They are games that are timeless, and it's because of how long they are. You get to spend a very, very lengthy time with people. These characters that you get to know over time. But here's the thing. I will see people saying, make Persona 6 shorter. And my answer to that is, you don't have to play it. You can play a different game. There's plenty of games out there to play. You don't have to play the longest game in the world. The same with Xenoblade Chronicles 3. When you saw that game was 150 hours, your first instinct should be, if you don't like long games, I'm not going to play this game. If I see a game review and I see a bunch of reviews saying the exact same thing and it's something I don't like, then I'm going to make an informed decision with my wallet and not buy that game. But for me, when I see Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is 150 hours, I'm like, I'm going for this. It'd be a bit different if you saw a game that was supposed to be around 10 hours, clocking in at something like 30 hours. One of the best examples that I would give is Alien Isolation's campaign being about 18 hours, and for me personally, just me personally, that was a bit lengthy and a bit long. But after I finished the game, I didn't say change this because I knew the fans absolutely adored it. For me personally, it was just okay, this is a game that's just not for me at this stage. This is a game that is a bit too lengthy for me. And what I always like to say is that Persona 5 Royal, the Royal, at 147 hours, my playthrough of that game is exactly how I felt playing a 10-hour game like Resident Evil Village. Resident Evil Village works at 10 hours, Persona 5 Royal works at 140 hours. And they can coexist at the same time, and you get something completely different from both games. Persona 5 Royal would not work at the 60-hour mark. It would not have the same impact. It just wouldn't. You wouldn't be able to have the same amount of love for that game, the same amount of stuff that you can do in that game, the same amount of joy you have with those characters. It grows over time and keeps growing for me. Just like Resident Evil Village wouldn't work at 60 hours or 20 hours. It works because it's a 10-hour game, because that's how the pacing works. Games have a wide variety of times for that reason, because there's different pacing, there's different characters, there's different combat, there's different stories, there's different cutscenes. There's a difference between all aspects of those games, and that's why they work so well. I feel like I'm being a bit pushy with this and saying to people, hey, well, just don't buy the game, but that's just all there is to it. I'm kind of sick and tired, to be honest. And this is one of the few times you're going to get to see sick and tired Calvin. I'm kind of sick and tired of hearing make games shorter, make games more manageable. I think we have this weird thing with video games now that we have to shotgun them like cigarettes. After we smoke one, we have to smoke one exactly after that. Nobody asks you to play 20 games in a month. Nobody asks you to pick up a game after game after game to keep up. That's just something that we have been conditioned to do because of Twitter, because of YouTube. If we don't play a game, we're missing out. If we don't play a game, we're not going to be able to discuss things with our friends the next time we see them. If we don't play this game right now, people are going to think we don't care about that game and we're not a part of the fandom. If we don't play this game right now, then you're seen as kind of lesser than. Nobody really thinks like that. The fact of the matter is, if you skipped a few games, you're probably going to be happier. This year alone, there's been a bunch of games that I've wanted to play, and I've just skipped them because I wanted to pace myself a little bit better. There's been years where I've literally played 90 games in the whole year. And in that whole year, I probably connected with about maybe 20 of them. You know what I mean? But now that I'm playing less games, I'm not saying you should play less games, play as much games as you want. Oh my god, gorge yourself on video games, do whatever you want. But for me personally, I just think that we have this condition now online that we have to keep up. We have to play every game. Wait for a sale. In December, if you want to play Xenoblade Chronicles 3 then, it might be on sale for €40. If you don't want to play The Quarry right now, it's already on sale now, and you could get it now for €40 instead of the €70 price. And sometimes there's a benefit for that. Sometimes there is. I just think that we too often see people complaining about the length of video games when the people who play those video games love the length of those video games. Love them. I'm going to be playing Xenoblade Chronicles 3 well into September. Well, probably even into October, and I'm very excited for that. I'm very excited to be able to do that. There's plenty of games I want to play between then, of course, like Valkyrie Elysium, Soul Hackers 2. There's plenty of JRPGs that I really want to play throughout the end of the year. But I'm happy that we're going to get this game, because when's the next time we're going to get a Xenoblade game? It's not like the next Xenoblade game is going to come out right away. It's been 5 years since the last Xenoblade game. Every 5 years, a 150-hour game? I'll take it. I hope this wasn't too rambling me talking about this, but this just really means a lot to me. This really does mean a lot to me because I've been in this discussion so many times. If I had people online when I post I love Persona 5 Royal, they reply to it weirdly. People like I even know will reply to it and be like, I wish the game was shorter. It's okay, then what am I supposed to do when I love it? Change they're gonna change the game. Alice is gonna go, all these people that didn't like the game, let's listen to them. The fact of the matter is that I'm very happy. Monolith Soft is going to look at this, and Xenoblade Chronicles 4 is going to be 200 hours long. And all the complaining won't mean a thing. And also we forget as well, I think it's mostly adults who are complaining about this, because this is what I'm going to say to end this video. It's mostly adults complaining about this, because I know for a goddamn fact, I know for a gosh darn fact, that a teenager who does not have a lot of money, who beg their parents to give them a bit of cash every week, who maybe doesn't have a lot. When I was a teenager, I didn't have any money. I didn't have any money to my name. I couldn't ask my parents for money. I got money maybe at Christmas or got a game at Christmas. If I got Xenoblade Chronicles 3 at Christmas as a teenager, as a kid, I'd be over the moon. I wouldn't be going, this game is too long, man. No, man. This game is perfect for people who want a game to just preoccupy them for months. For months. And that's fair enough. I think sometimes we forget that it's not just us in the world. It's a whole wide variety of video game players, and there's a whole wide variety of games that you can choose. If you don't like this, there's a game that's coming out next week that you'll like instead. If you don't like, just like if you didn't like Ghostwire Tokyo, The Quarry was coming out in a few weeks. If you didn't like The Quarry, Alive Alive was coming out in a few weeks. If you didn't like Live Alive, Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is coming out in a few weeks. If you didn't like Xenoblade Chronicles 3 in a few weeks, you'll have Soul Hackers 2. There's so many wide variety of games, there's such a wide variety of video game players, and we have to just accept that lengthy games are fun too for people. Games aren't too long, games aren't too short. They can be too long and they can be too short, but in most cases, games are perfect at 10 hours because that's how they're paced, and games can also be perfect at 140 hours. Thank you guys for listening to my ramble, and I'll see you guys very soon. Bye bye.